Tailbone pain is a very common condition that unfortunately many people can experience at some point in their lifetime. If you are dealing with tailbone pain, whether it's when you're sitting, standing, walking around, or getting up and down from a chair, this video is for you to help you understand what you can do to get over that pain quick. My name's Dr. Brooke Kalisiak. I'm a pelvic physical therapist who is passionate about helping people overcome their pelvic health issues, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to overcome your tailbone pain. Let's start out by getting a better idea of where the tailbone is in relation to some of the muscles around it. So this is our bony pelvis right here with our pelvic floor on the bottom. Now if I flip it around, we get to see that our spine comes down to our sacrum, which is the big triangular bone at the bottom. And then at the very, very bottom is our tailbone. And as you can see here, there's several of these red muscles that kind of can come in and attach right to the tailbone. This muscle group here is known collectively as the pelvic floor muscles. So these have a deep connection to the tailbone. Over the top of them, and not shown here, are some of the hip rotator muscles and the gluteal or buttocks muscles, and they have an effect on this outer part around the sacrum and the tailbone. So we have two different muscle groups mainly, the pelvic floor, which can flex or pull the tailbone forward, and the gluteal and buttocks muscles, which can kind of extend the tailbone out. And so these muscles are supposed to work together, but sometimes, especially if certain muscle groups are too tense or not contracting and relaxing as well as they should be, they can actually cause more of a tension or pull on that tailbone, and it can become very painful. The most common symptoms of tailbone pain, or coxagodynia, which are the formal names for tailbone pain, are pain with sitting and pain with getting up from sitting. In some cases, people will feel this pain when they're up and standing and walking around, but it is much more common to feel the pain when there's actual pressure on the tailbone and in that sitting position. And then again, when people go from that sitting to standing position. So I'm going to talk you through some things that you can do to try and mitigate the pain in sitting, as well as the pain when you get up and down from the chair. So oftentimes when people are in a sitting position, they can feel that pain directly at the tailbone. This can be related to how we're actually sitting in the chair. So notice right now I'm actually sitting pretty upright, but most people don't sit this way. Most people kind of slouch back in the chair and end up kind of tucking their pelvis underneath them. So we're putting more pressure on the sacrum and the tailbone. So one of the ways that we can help to take pressure off of it is what I like to call fluffing the butt skirt. So it sounds kind of crazy, but stay with me here. So when I go to sit down, I want to think about spreading my butt out, spreading my butt cheeks out. I'm not physically doing it with my hands, although I have told people to do that sometimes. I'm thinking about spreading my butt out and sending my tailbone back to that back part of the chair so that I get right on my sit bones versus being tucked under. And so simply by doing that puts me up in a better pelvic position where I'm not rocked back on my sacrum, but instead I am forward on my sit bones, and that takes pressure off of the tailbone itself, which can help alleviate some of the symptoms, especially if you're sitting for long periods of time. So another thing I like to have people do to help unweight that tailbone and take some of the pressure off of it is to make what I call a towel ramp. So I have one towel that's folded into fourths, and then another towel that's folded into half on top of that. And then I set that up on my chair that I'm going to be sitting on. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of space to kind of shoot my tailbone off the back of the towel ramp so that my butt bones are on the towel ramp itself. So I, again, fluff the butt skirt. And now on that ramp kind of tips me forward a little bit, so that feels pretty easy and comfortable to stay up in this position and be sitting on my ischial tuberosity, my butt bones, instead of rocking back and tucking my pelvis under onto my tailbone. So I'm keeping that pressure off of it and feeling much more comfortable. So let's review on the pelvis what those sitting position changes look like. So most people tend to sit with their pelvis kind of tucked under, and they're sitting with more pressure on their sacrum and their tailbone. We are designed to sit on our two sit bones called our ischial tuberosities. So you want to think about untucking the pelvis. So I called it fluffing the butt skirt when you went to sit down, so that you sit down onto these sit bones and keeping pressure off of the sacrum and the tailbone. Okay, because when we tuck under like that and we're putting all of this prolonged pressure through here, that can really start to aggravate that tailbone. So we want to think about having that pelvis rock forward, and you can do that simply by making sure you maintain that position or by using that towel ramp that I described to help you hold that position. So the other most common time that people feel tailbone pain is when they're going from sitting to a standing position. So I'm going to talk you through what I call belly, butt, and breathe to again help alleviate some of the symptoms on that tailbone when we go from a sitting to a standing position. So when you're going to get up, what I want you to think about is pulling in your tummy muscles a little bit, squeezing your butt cheeks a little bit just to kind of get them turned on. And you're going to blow out as you stand up. You're going to go to stand up, okay? What we're doing is creating some core stability around here to help support around the tailbone to help unload it a little bit. So again, to review, belly button breathe is a little bit of belly pull in, a little bit of butt squeeze, and then you're going to blow out as you stand up. For many people, that simple change of belly button breathe can make it so much more comfortable when they get up from a sitting position. Now that we've talked about some of the common causes of tailbone pain and some of the things you can do when you feel that pain in sitting or with sit to stand, let's talk about a few stretches that you can do to help minimize the pain from ever happening. So we're going to go through some of my favorites. My first one that I want to show you is a piriformis stretch in sitting. So in this position, what you're going to do, sitting in a chair, you're going to cross one leg, one ankle up over the knee and have that leg out to the side here. And then you're going to lean forward until you feel a stretch back in the hip and buttock area to tolerance. You're going to hang out and hold that stretch, kind of breathe into it, see if you can get a little bit further, and do it for about 20 to 30 seconds or so on each side. So after I finish this one, I would uncross this leg, cross up the other one, the ankle at the knee, and then lean forward into that stretch. Again, I want to feel it in that back hip and buttocks on the side of the leg that's crossed. So now I'm going to show you two more stretches that you can do in a laying down position to help with tailbone pain. The first one is called Happy Baby. So laying down on your back, you can have your head supported or not. You're going to bring both legs up. You can grab behind your knees and hang in this position. You can reach up and grab at your legs, the lower part, or if you're really flexible, you can grab up at your feet. And you want to kind of breathe into that, letting this area down here be very open and relaxed. So try and hold this position and breathe for maybe about 60 seconds at a time. So Happy Baby is the first laying down stretch. The second one is knee to opposite shoulder. So laying down with your legs, one leg out straight. You're going to grab with the knee and pull it across towards that opposite shoulder and hold there. Doing that for about 20 or 30 seconds. Then bring that one down. Same thing on the other side. Bring it up and pull it across. You should feel it kind of pull all through that buttocks area and hold for, again, 20 to 30 seconds so that you do both sides with it. So those are the two laying down stretches to help with tailbone pain. So the last one that I have is doing a deep squat position. So coming down into a deep squat, you can put your elbows in on your knees and kind of let your hands rest here. You can rock back and forth if you want to, but you really want to think about everything in the low area, relaxing and opening up. I say this to my patients all the time, and they usually laugh at it. I want you to imagine that if you had to pee, poop, or fart, it's just going to come out of you, as we want to be that relaxed that helps to open up the pelvic floor area and take pressure off those pelvic floor muscles that might be pulling forward on your tailbone. So there you have it. Those are 4 of my favorite stretches to help with tailbone pain, as well as we talked about alterations to your sitting position and how you get up from sitting to help maximize the amount of control around the pelvis so that we take pressure off of that tailbone. So hopefully these tips help you. If you are trying some of these and you're still experiencing tailbone pain, then this might be a good opportunity to contact a pelvic physical therapist. This is one of the most common diagnoses that we see at our clinic, and we would be honored to work with you if you're in the St. Louis area. If not, you want to try and locate a pelvic physical therapist near you. Stay tuned for future videos where we continue to talk about common pelvic health issues and what you can do about them to optimize your pelvic health.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope you found it informative. We put out weekly content on pelvic health topics because we want people to be able to optimize their pelvic health throughout their lifetime. Make sure you like and subscribe our channel so that you're alerted when our next video becomes available.